Okay guys, welcome to this week's Friday Waffle. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, why does he never wear his cap round the same way twice? I don't know why. You know what? I really don't know why. Sometimes I like to wear it back to front, and other times I like to wear it facing me. I think, and I mentioned this on a live stream on whatever day it was, Tuesday I think it was, when when I go to make a video and record myself, the baseball cap is kind of the one little bit of costume that I put on to become main meister. Does that make any sense? It sounds a bit pretentious, but it's weird when anytime I go to do a video, especially a live stream, I automatically grab the baseball cap and I effectively feel naked without it. I mean, I don't wear this baseball cap all the time, not at all. I do happen to wear it. I mean, I wear it when I go out running, I wear it when I'm going out just, at the shops, whatever. But yeah, when I come to make a video, I always put the baseball cap on. And I think because my intro, my Sunday Live intro thing, I've got it the right way around. I usually wear it the right way around just for that. But tonight, I actually had it on the normal way and then I decided to reverse it. So, you know what? I don't know why. Who cares? Who actually cares? It's not important. But yeah, I do. The baseball cap it's a kind of main meister thing. And it's like I said, it's automatic now. I grab the cap before I kind of go online. So anyway, I hope you're all right. Yeah, it's been work-wise, it's kind of been okay. But my on Tuesday, I noticed I couldn't send emails from about lunchtime, and it turns out IT had decided to deactivate my account. Now they've told us that they thought that I was actually leaving on the 16th of March as opposed to the 16th of April. So IT decided to turn my emails off, and I've been chasing them since Tuesday to fix it, and as of tonight they still hadn't fixed it. And so I've been emailing them using my personal email account on my phone, and then they got back to me to say that it can take up to 48 hours to reinstate. Now, I'm not an IT guru at all. The fact that I can do live streams, the fact that I can email arcade cabinets to people, the fact that I can put 256 gig on an SD card the size of my fingernail, that blows my mind. Yet how can they instantly deactivate an email account and yet it takes 48 hours to activate it again? Explain that to me. If there's any IT gurus out watching this, please let me know, because I don't know. I suppose that the only good thing is it doesn't mean that I'm going when it does activate itself. I mean, the 48 hours that was today, potentially could be Monday before I get emails. It doesn't mean that I'm going to get inundated with emails because nobody's been able to send them to me. So hopefully when it does kick in, I wouldn't have too many. Why am I talking about work's emails? I mean, is there anything more boring? This is meant to be an entertaining retro channel, retro gaming channel with an old bloke talking about video games, not talking about being unable to access work's emails. So yeah, that's been that. I've been out. I'm quite chuffed with myself. I've been out running. I said I went out last Friday. I went out Monday. I went out Tuesday, and I went out tonight. No, I didn't go out tonight. I went out last night, which was Thursday. I'm actually recording this on Thursday, hence the FOPA. Yeah, I went out Thursday as well. And it's only a couple of miles that I'm running, but you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's the fact that I'm dragging my fat arse out. I mean, I don't know. I know people laugh when I say I'm fat, and I'm not fat. I'm not fat at all, but for me, I'm definitely heavier. I've got a bit of midriff round here, which I don't like. I don't know. I don't weigh myself. I don't see the point of weighing myself. I just have to look at myself and I can tell with how tight my trousers are, how heavy or fat or how much weight I've lost, and I know that I've put a weight on. I would put a guesstimate that I've probably put on about, I don't know if I've put a stone on, maybe not quite so much a stone. I reckon I've probably put on about between half a stone and 3/4 of a stone on weight over the last probably year. But the good thing with me is, I mean, I must have quite a fast sort of metabolism, and when I start running, the weight does come off very quickly. I mean, I've only been running really this week, and I don't know, I think my face looks a wee bit skinnier, which is nice. The problem is, I say, it's getting off my midriff, but it will come. It will absolutely come. So I'm really not too concerned. So that's kind of been that. I've been going out running. Gaming wise, yuck, you know what? I'm an absolute twat. I've, on my big TV downstairs, I've got my big 4K telly. It's got 3 HDMI inputs, and into that, in one of them I've got a Fire Stick, in the second one I've got my PlayStation 4, and in the third one I've got, now what have I got? I've got a so I've got an Xbox, original Xbox, I'm not talking about 360, the Xbox, then I've got an Xbox 360, then I've got an Xbox One, then I've got a PlayStation 3, then I've got the Wii U, 5, plus I've got an extension cable which I use to plug in my RetroPie things, and also my Switch. So I've got all these cables, and what I've done is I've got one cable from HDMI 3, and it's an extender cable, so it means I can kind of swap, you know, whatever I want to play I can plug it in. But I saw a thing on eBay, 8-in-1. I thought, excellent, that'll do me, you know, I can plug them all in and they'll all just work. So it arrived today, excuse me, it arrived tonight. Well, it arrived when I was at work, and I plugged it in, nothing, and I spent about half an hour, probably more than that actually, basically fanning about trying to get this thing working. And then when I flipped it round, I noticed there were 8 outputs and 1 input, and that got me thinking. I'm thinking, wait a minute, I have got 8 outputs. No, sorry, 8 inputs and 1 output, whereas this is 1 input and 8 outputs. So I thought, hang on, I think I've bought the wrong thing. So I came up and checked the advert, and sure enough, the thing that I've bought is designed for, like, I don't know, a laptop getting plugged in, and it will then output the image to 8 different devices. So I've basically bought the wrong thing. So I'm a FUD. Officially, I am a FUD. Twat, whatever. I just, you know what, I just googled it, or you know, I had a search on eBay, and I saw 8-in-1 HDMI split. I thought, that's what I'm looking for. I didn't think for 1 second I'd be buying the wrong thing, but anyway. Yeah, so that's kind of been it. I'm actually still waiting on my multiple JAMA board for my arcade cabinet. I mean, right now, as I mentioned, I've got Double Dragon in it, which, I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of Double Dragon at all. I just think it's clunky. I don't think it's aged particularly well. I don't have any nostalgia for it. So yeah, I got in touch with a guy that's buying it, because part of the deal was I bought this machine, but he was going to order up a multi-board, and the Double Dragon thing was just a kind of temporary thing. So I messaged him tonight. I says, has it turned up yet? And he says it has, and he's plugged it into his own. He's got the same machine as me, and it's all Chinese, but hopefully he'll be able to get it working in English. So I'll be getting that, hopefully, ideally maybe this weekend. I don't know, it depends if the guy can get through with it. But what I've done is one of my mates who's on the channel, he's got the same sort of cabinet, he's got a JAMA machine, and what he's done is he's bought this device which allows you to connect a Raspberry Pi up to a JAMA connector. So I've ordered myself one, and I've also ordered myself a Raspberry Pi 3B Plus. Don't know what the difference. What's the difference between a plus and a non-plus? Is it slightly quicker or something? So I've got that ordered. I think the interface thing's coming from Australia, so it's going to take probably 3 weeks to arrive. So if I get this multi-board thing, then that's great. But I'll probably will end up putting. Well, in fact, it's not a question. I will be putting in the Raspberry Pi, because the the Raspberry Pi is going to allow me to play, like, twin stick shooters. This multi-board thing, I think it's got, I don't know how many games in it, but it doesn't have things like Robotron, it doesn't have Defender, anything like that. Saying that, I've got my Defender cabinet anyway, but yeah, so looking forward to getting that. But I've not been really playing any games at all. I've just been really busy. Actually, I was really tired last night, absolutely knackered. Yeah, anyway, listen, enough of my warbling pish. I'm just going to crack on with some questions. Just before I start, I tend to make the Friday Waffle on Thursdays, and then I put it out on the Friday. So could I ask you, if you want a question featured for like this week's one, can you please get it to me sort of, I would say Wednesday night or Thursday morning, if you want it included, because I know last week when I did the Friday Waffle, there was a couple of questions that had been posted after I'd already made it, because I do tend to, well, it just depends. I think 1 week, yeah, it depends what I'm up to. 1 week I will make it on a Thursday, and the next week I'll make it on the Friday. But yeah, generally, if you can get the questions in for kind of like Wednesday night, that's the best thing to do. The thing is, if it doesn't, don't worry about it, because I always check when I'm doing my questions. I always check the last week's waffle and the week before as well, just in case there's any that have kind of slipped through the grapevine. So yeah, I've got a few questions here, but like I said, please keep the questions coming. I do appreciate it, and like I said, I would struggle to do these things without them. So anyway, let's kicking things off. Mr. Craig Flanagan, Al, when you started your channel, did you intend it to go the way it has now, with Discord, with all us mates in it? And how do you think it will be in the future? And don't worry, after lockdown we will have beers. That is a certainty, Craig. Did I intend it to go this way? Not at all. I mean, I don't think you could possibly do that, because what you need to remember, Craig, is when you start off a YouTube channel, you don't know anybody. I mean, when I started off my YouTube channel, it took me about a year to get 100 subscribers. And so yeah, when you start off a YouTube channel, you're basically making content to a completely unknown audience. And it's only been, I would say, over the last maybe 3 years that I've got to know, people. It's the same people. I mean, it's certainly the same people that comment in videos. And I think since I've started doing the live streams, that's kind of really brought the whole friendship aspect to the channel together. But no, did I intend it to go that way? Not at all. You couldn't think to yourself, right, I'm going to start a website, I'm going to start a YouTube channel, I don't know anybody, but once everybody starts watching it, I'm going to do a YouTube, I'm going to do a Discord thing. You couldn't possibly expect that to happen. How do you think it'll be in the future? I don't really see it changing that much. I mean, I've always said that my channel is quite distinctive. It's quite an original channel from the point of view that I think a few of the sort of the other smaller channels like myself, like Novabug, he does have his kind of key watchers and he will actively speak to them. But other channels, certainly, bigger channels, they don't. It's almost like it's a business. Well, for a lot of them, it is a business. They never really mention people's names in videos, unless maybe, some viewer sends somebody a gift, then they'll maybe say thanks to whoever it is. But in the main, YouTube channels do not mention people's names. They might mention it in a comment, but I think I am quite unique. It's I've got my core kind of viewers. I mean, I think going by the Sunday live streams, there's I mean, it usually tops out about 40, 45 on a Sunday. It tends to stay between about maybe 35 and 45. And there's maybe about, I don't know, 10 people commenting. So there's still about maybe 30 people who don't comment. I would love to know, actually, I would really love to know, just purely for interest's sake, you know, who actually watches the channel, because I think I may have a few friends who watch it, but they don't ever comment. And it's nice to kind of know who's watching. But yeah, I mean, do I see it like that in the future, Craig? I think it will be. I don't really see it changing. The thing is, as much as I enjoy having you know, this sort of core group of kind of, and I'm going to call you friends, and it's friends that I've made through YouTube. I would never want it to become like a little closed group, or like a niche or a clique, because, you know, my channel, I do it for fun, and it's there for everybody. You know, if anybody enjoys my channel, then brilliant. And I would hate to think that because I'm very personal when I'm talking to a lot of people, I would hate to think that would put other people off. I can imagine it could do. If you go into, you know, especially a live stream, I know I've done it some days, going to a live stream, and it's the same people all talking, oh, how you doing, blah 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 blah. That can sometimes be off-putting, and it ends up making you think, nah, no, I'll just leave. You know, hopefully that doesn't happen in my channel. So how do I think it's going to go in the future? I would like to think that the channel will continue to grow, because, you know, it's good fun. I don't take any money from anybody for doing this. I would never charge money. I monetize my channel, so I get a couple of quid every month from YouTube. But I would never do the Patreon thing. It's not a thing that I've got any interest in doing. I sound daft. Why would I not want free money? Of course I would want money. Why would anyone not want money? But where I'm uncomfortable is the taking, is people paying for me to watch my videos. Now, I know people look upon it as it's completely volunteer, you know, or voluntary. People look upon it as a tip jar, and I totally understand it. But I just think that the whole dynamics of a YouTube channel, your channel's going to change if you're taking money. You know, a lot of my friends who've just started off on YouTube have monetized their channel, but it's not a thing I would do. But like I says, as much as I don't, you know, I'm not interested in making any money, it is nice to see that the subscriber levels going up, because you think, well, more people are watching videos. I mean, generally it's only 10% of your subscribers that ever watch videos. But yeah, I would, like I said, I'd be lying if I didn't say it's nice to see my sub level rise, and I wouldn't want that to not happen because people kind of felt isolated. They didn't kind of think, well, you know, I don't know these people, so I'm not going to be welcome. Not at all. And all I can say is I want to encourage people that do watch my live streams. Please comment, say hello, even if it's just a, you know, hi Al, whatever it is, just to kind of let me know who's out there, you know. So anyway, listen, Craig, thank you very much, and we will absolutely get some beers in the not too distant future, hopefully. Country Road, this question for next week: how many years have you been doing Friday night waffles? I mean, if I could be bothered, I could go and search, but I don't think it really matters. I think I started doing the Friday Waffles I think it was the beginning of 2014. I don't think I was doing them in 2013. So say the beginning of 2014, that's, what's that, 7 years I've been doing waffles. And that is why I rely on you guys to ask me questions, because 7 years times 52, I don't know, do your sums, that's a lot of waffles. That's a lot of time to be talking about the hobby. Now, I know you could say there's always new topics, and there is always new topics to talk about, but that's why I do need questions, just like what you've asked there. So yeah, I reckon probably about 7 years in total, which is a long time. It is a long time. I mean, the great Mr. Benway, Steve Benway, he was doing his Friday talkie, and I couldn't wait for it. I used to enjoy Friday, and part of the Friday ritual was watching Steve's Friday talkie, and that's what encouraged me to start doing a Friday waffle. And Steve did eventually stop doing it just because he said he'd kind of ran out of things to say. So it is possible. It is possible to kind of run dry. I think it's different when you're having somebody else to talk with, but when you're just on your own talking, it can sometimes be, I wouldn't say a drag, it can be difficult. But anyway, thank you very much, Squire. And you older gamer Steve, great waffle again, sir, thank you. I might be too late with this question, though you're not at all, so here goes. Was there ever a video game you played that made you see life slightly different or consider something you never did before? Ooh, that's quite a deep and meaningful question, Steve. Has there ever been a video game that's made you see life differently? Or consider something you never did before? You know what, I can't really think. I mean, certainly old games, I mean, all the games that I played back in the day they were all purely fiction, Space Invaders, shoot 'em ups. So no, I didn't really look upon them as being real life. Has there ever been a video game that's made you see life differently? I mean, there's some of the more modern games. I mean, there's a game called Heavy Rain. I'm not going to give you any spoilers. I mean, it is an old game, but I think you can get it on PlayStation Plus. There's a few. It does make you think. I mean, it's quite a dark storyline. I mean, the start of it is very, blimey. You're kind of, if you're feeling a bit down in the dumps, don't play the game, because it kind of, there's a bit of a kick in the balls at the very, very start. And that's kind of made me think about things. And then there's games like Last of Us, which I wouldn't say it's made me reflect on my own life, but it does get you thinking. You know, you do get into the characters. You get to like characters, you get to dislike characters, but I can't really think of any game. I mean, there's things like Theatre Europe and that kind of stuff, but yeah, I mean, Theatre Europe, obviously it was all about the Cold War, and I bought that in the C64 and I played it, and yeah, I remember there's one bit before you fire, you have to get the codes before you can launch a nuclear missile, and there was a phone number in the manual which you phoned, and I remember phoning it, and there was like a baby crying, and even now talking about it, I'm getting a shiver down my spine. And it just felt, blimey, this was a bit scary. And what made it worse was we were still in the throes of a Cold War back in the 80s. So that was a bit of a juddery moment. I suppose I mean, again, it doesn't say it's made me think of life differently. I mean, there was one game, and it's probably the only time I've played it, was it Call of Duty or something? One of these games anyway. And it was on the Xbox 360. And there was a level, was it an airport level, you have to run through the airport, and it gave you the option to skip the level, and I thought, well, why is that? And it said that you're going to be playing the part of a counter-terrorist, but you're basically undercover, so you're actually with the terrorists, but you're undercover. And I decided to play it, and you're basically running about, and you were shooting women and kids and people, just basically shooting members of the public. And I remember playing it for a couple of minutes, and I just stopped and I switched it off. And no, I mean, I know games are fun, but I wouldn't. There's a level that I would go to. I don't have a problem playing games where you're killing zombies or killing kind of randoms, but I would not feel comfortable about playing a game where you're shooting like people in the face or whatever. It's even like Grand Theft Auto. I mean, I know, you've all seen the videos of, clubbing a prostitute to death and all this kind of stuff. That's kind of a bit too near. That doesn't really sit well with me. So stuff like that's kind of made a mark on me, Steve. But I can't think of any game in particular that's made me sort of think about things differently. But that's a good question. I should have probably read that this week and then answer it next week. But yeah, thanks, Steve. Good question. Mr. Colin Jones, my question this week is not retro. It's based on a recent purchase. Do you have any liking for Lego? And if so, has my recent build of the International Space Station shown in Discord whetted your appetite for something in the near future? Honest answer, Colin, nah, I don't. And this may be rich coming from a 53-year-old man playing video games, but I've never really seen the point of Lego. Now, I had Lego as a kid. You know, I had a big box, a tub of just random bricks, which I built things with. And I understand that. I can understand you build things. But what I don't understand is where you buy a pack and the only parts that you're getting are to build like a model, like in your case the International Space Station. I mean, you've got the Millennium Falcon and there's all these different things, Harry Potter and all this stuff, and you build it and then you put it on display. Now, for me, there's kind of two things missing. If I was wanting a model of, say, like, I don't know, Millennium Falcon or an AT-AT or something, I would rather have a proper model than one that's built with bricks, if that makes any sense. And secondly, you know, well, to me, the whole point of Lego was using your imagination and building things. And if you've only got the parts to build this one specific thing and you're following instructions, it's kind of defeating the purpose. And then the last thing of all is, have you seen the price of these things? I don't know how much your space station thing costs, but I mean, some of these like Millennium, I'm sure I know some stuff is like £600 of that. It's just ridiculous. Saying that, I did get what did I get? Let's go and have a look. I did actually get this for my Christmas. Now, I don't know why I got it, because I'm not into Lego at all. I bought that Speed Champions. Yeah, I'm not really, I don't know, I've got no interest in things like that. That was for my Christmas. Yeah, so sorry Colin, not a fan of Lego at all. It's not something I get at all. I really just don't get it. But not to say, I mean, it's you know, you get Lego shops, and you know, I have a few mates who build Lego and they spend ridiculous amounts of money on it as well, you know. So anyway, each their own. But thanks, Colin. And Panther UK, cracking waffle, mate. I've actually thought of a question this week. Hey, you've made loads of videos now. What is your all-time favourite? Oh, blimey, that is. I do get asked that from time to time. I mean, yeah, you know, okay, I'm going to be honest. I wouldn't be anything different. If I was going to be remembered for any one video, it would have to be my Dominic Diamond one. Purely and simply because, well, for a couple of reasons. Dominic Diamond was a bit of an icon, you know, with video gamers, and to have the opportunity, I mean, you know, we were talking earlier on about Craig was asking about my channel, where did I see it coming? When I started off, you know, in 2013, I never in a billion years thought that one day I was going to be interviewing Dominic Diamond on my YouTube channel. I never thought that was going to happen. So to have him on and be talking to him was pretty damn special. I mean, don't get me wrong, all the people that I've spoken to in my channel are brilliant, they really are. But I think just because Dominic Diamond was so well known, I mean, he wasn't just known, you know, in video game circles. He was known. He was on TV. He did other things as well. So that was, and I'm really chuffed with how the video went. I mean, the first maybe 10 minutes, I was quite nervous. I think that comes across, but I thought it went really well. I mean, some of the comments, one guy said it was like listening to two mates in the pub, and it was brilliant. We really kind of hit it off, I thought. And the second thing, or the third thing that makes me really chuffed about it was, I was the only person to interview Dominic Diamond. I mean, there'd been a couple of interviews years before, but even big channels like the Retro Hour, they'd never interviewed him. So I was one of the first people to kind of do a proper interview, and considering I'm a tiny little channel, I was extremely chuffed. And then obviously the Retro Hour did that as well. And I suppose having, probably, on an equal kind of platform, getting to speak to, Sean Southern and Andrew Morris, the guys that wrote Lotus Turbo Challenge. I mean, Sean and Andrew did some classic games that I loved. I mean, I loved, the Kickstart games. I loved, Olympic skier, all these ones, supercars, just awesome. So yeah, getting to interview these guys would probably be my kind of favourite videos. But getting away from sort of like talking to famous people, I would like to think that I've been, I wouldn't say I was the pioneer, but I mean, I put out that, the 64 loaders, the history of the C64 loaders. I love that video. I think it's quite a clever video, quite a good idea. I don't know if anyone else has ever done anything since then, but that was quite a unique one that I'd done. So I'm really quite pleased with that one. And also, of all your non-live features, what ones do you like putting together more than others? I don't know. I mean, you're saying like. I like the simple ones. No, I mean, what I'm trying to think of an example. That was the year that was, is where I pick a year, and then I'll look at the news headlines. I'll look at the top 10 films. I'll look at the top 10 movies. The top 10 singles, record singles. And then I'll basically I'll go through all the games that I remember on a particular system, and the editing and the amount of videos you've got to make one of these videos, you wouldn't believe. You really wouldn't believe. I mean, the last one I done, I think it was that was the year that was 1983 Commodore 64. I think the video ran for like 4 hours, something like 4 hours. And it took me the best part of a couple of months to kind of edit it and do the voiceovers. It took me forever. So yeah, I mean, these are good. I mean, it's not always enjoyable when you're making these videos. Sometimes you're like, I can't be bothered, and then sometimes you've got to go and do the voiceovers. But yeah, when you actually see the finished product, I think these videos, that was the year that was. I think these videos kind of do stand up pretty well. I think when I'm long gone, I think these are videos that people can relate to. I suppose the Arcade Perfect My Arses as well, to a certain extent. But yeah, I think these are the ones that I really enjoy doing. So anyway, listen, Panther, thanks very much, buddy. Appreciate it as always. Right, Milfy Swinbuckle. Question for next Waffle. I think you've touched on this in the Sunday stream occasionally, though I'm not even sure if you know the answer yourself. But can you remember when and why China Miner became that game you played at the end of a gaming stream? I think, you know what, it's a game that I've played. I played it a couple of times back in the day, but then I did a They Did What video, and it's where I take a software company and I look at all the games that that a company's made, and one of them being I did Interceptor Software, and one of them was China Miner, and I just kept going on about how impossible the game was. I literally said, I think I maybe actually said that I would bet my mortgage against anybody playing this game for the first time. I would guarantee that you will not get past the first level. Playing it for the very first time, you will not get past. I still stand by that. I don't think there's one person, unless you're like Charlie Farr, excuse me, I don't think there's anybody that could load up China Miner for the first time. Why did my voice just go really high there? For the first time. Yeah, I don't believe there's anyone that could play it for the first time and complete the first level. So I always maintained it was impossible. Then I think I might have even featured it in a video, I can't remember, where I said the game was broken. I don't know if I did or not. Basically saying it was too difficult. And then I played it in a Sunday live stream. And then I think it just became, we'll have another go at China Miner. And then within about 3 or 4 weeks, people wanted to see me play China Miner, because it wasn't just me trying to get through the game. People were giving me hints and saying, look, move 2 pixels that way or jump at that bit. So people were kind of helping me. So it became like a group exercise. And it's just become that game. It's the game that every Sunday live stream finishes with. I mean, I did mention in the Sunday stream this week about if people are getting bored of it, then let me know and I'll stop doing it. But I've got a bit of good news. Ian Gray, who programmed China Miner amongst other games, he commented on a stream about a month ago, and I didn't think it was him, but he's since got back to me this week, and we are hopefully going to go for an interview on, I've actually written it down, Tuesday the 30th of March. I'm going to be speaking to the iconic Ian Gray. Now I'm super chuffed because I know Retro Gamer have been trying to get in touch with him, and I'm not aware if they've succeeded or not. So for me to little old me with my little channel. But the funny thing was, I completely forgot to mention that, the funny thing was, the reason Ian Gray got in touch was because somebody had mentioned to him that there was this bloke on YouTube every Sunday and he always plays China Miner. So because I play China Miner every week, the author has got in touch. So fantastic. I think I'd been subbed to your channel for around 2 years or so, and even then back, I'm fairly sure that you were playing the game as a final to your stream. So when did it start? Yeah, like I said, I think it pretty much became a thing when I started doing live streams. I've been doing live streams for maybe a couple of years, not much more than that. So thank you, Milfy. And to left, Highlander, excellent waffle as always, keep up the good work. Here's my question. Have you ever played a game that you really didn't want to stop playing, but you got to a point in the game that you couldn't overcome, so you had to walk away from it? An example for me would be Nioh on the PS4. So I'm just going to read that again. Have you ever played a game that you really didn't want to stop playing, but you got to a point in the game that you couldn't overcome? Yeah, it's happened in 2 occasions. Both Bioshock. The first one was the original Bioshock, when the Xbox 360, I think it was actually. I got to the very last level, and spoiler, I got to the very last level, and you go up in this lift, and you're in this room, and you've got this kind of final baddie to kill. Now, I stupidly saved it just before I went up in the lift. Now at that point I only had a tiny little bit of energy, and then when I went up and you start fighting this guy, it's instant death. I mean, I think you can pick up energy and whatever, but it's so difficult. And I played it. I played it for a few weeks, and then I went back to it, and I ended up thinking, bollocks, I'm not got the patience. And the second one would be Bioshock, is it Infinity, is it called? It was the last one that came out. And I don't know how far I am in the game, maybe halfway through it, maybe not as much as that. And you're on this big balloon thing, and all these baddies are kind of they're landing on your balloon. That they're on balloons and they're landing on your balloon, and they're trying to. It's like a Zeppelin thing, you know, a balloon with an engine, and they start shooting this thing that you've got to try and save. And when the level starts, I can usually get about 15-20 minutes in, and then I die. It just gets so ridiculously difficult. And again, I played it for ages and ages and ages and ages, and I just gave up. So sometimes, I don't know, I've always maintained this, and I say that to anybody, any game publisher that might be watching this. Please give us the option to have infinite lives, to have infinite energy, to have infinite ammunition. Because here's the thing, when you pay a lot of money for a game, you want to complete it. But when you get to a point where you can't be bothered, and like I said, with these two games, Bioshock and Bioshock Infinity, is that what it's called? I can't remember. Anyway, it's the latest Bioshock. I just give up. Whereas I'd much rather, I wouldn't put it on infinite energy, but just being able to have either infinite ammo, something like that. That way I could get back into it again and complete it and enjoy it. So yeah. Anyway, thank you very much. And the last one, Mark whatever, excellent waffle, really enjoyed that. I'll second the other view. You're a white light in this whole depressing COVID scenario. My Saturday morning highlight, although watch today, is watching your waffle. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Mark. I know I sound like a broken record, and you know, I hope you understand my sincerity when I say this, but when I read comments like that my channel is somehow making somebody, it's making them a wee bit happy, it's giving them it's putting a smile on their face, that really means so much. It really, really does. And it's listening to things like that that just make me keep wanting to do this, because knowing that you've got people that enjoy it, that's special. It really, really is. So thank you very much, Mark. It's nice of you to actually say that. Anyway, question for next waffle. Back in the day, your weapon of choice was the C64, and I'm sure you would defend it and crap all over other 8-bits back then. Yeah, I would back then. I wouldn't now, however. However, since then, what machines have you gained an appreciation for that you would have completely dismissed back in the day, and what features of those machines made you change your mind? Yeah, the Spectrum. When I got my C64, I'd never played a Spectrum. I hadn't really seen a Spectrum before, and then I got pals with, a mate, and I went up to his house and he showed me Spectrum, and now this is 1985. Me and Mice are talking. I just thought it looked shit. It just looked shit, and it sounded shit. Didn't have any joystick. Colour clash central. You could hardly hear the sound in it. Terrible colours. I just thought it was awful. And fast forward, I don't know, 35 years, 40 years, 35 years. You know what? I love the Spectrum. I mean, I've got a Spectrum Next. I've got a Spectrum. I've owned multiple Spectrums. Some of my favourite games are Spectrum games. What was it about the features that changed it? I think the thing with the Spectrum was it was just bloody good. It was what it was. It had limited hardware. A wee rubber keyboard, but my goodness, programmers could make that little machine sing. I mean, look at some of the arcade conversions that we've had. Chase HQ, Commando, Bomb Jack, absolutely fantastic. And it could even do vector graphics. So yeah, the game, and some of the real original games, your Ant Attacks, your Zombie, Manic Miner. If I've ever played Manic Miner, it'll always be the Spectrum that I'll play, not the C64 one. So yeah, just the quirkiness, and even the quirkiness of the sounds. I mean, the Spectrum's got these little farty beep, buzzy little noises, but that's what makes it That's why the Spectrum has got such a love, because it was, it was the computer that most people could afford back then. I mean, that would be the computer. I mean, back then, my mum and dad didn't buy me the Spectrum, they bought me a bloody Texas. And the only reason I got a C64 was because I bought it myself. I had a part-time job. But yeah, I love the Spectrum. What other machines do I own? I mean, I've got the Amstrad. I've not used it very much. I need to actually look into getting an SD card solution. Novabug, I don't know if you watch this. If you're watching this, mate, please could you just give me a wee link to the easiest SD card solution? I know you did do a video about 6 months ago looking at them. I'll need to actually dig that out and have a look. But yeah, if somebody could give me a link to what is the easiest and best way. I want something that I can plug into the Amstrad and I can just load games for an SD card. So yeah, the Amstrad, I mean, it's a nice machine. I didn't really know much about it back then. The Atari, the Atari was the first machine that I saw back in 1978, 1979. It blew my mind. Seeing like Summer Games for the first time, seeing Boulder Dash, Bruce Lee, it just blew my mind, it really did. And then I went on to get a C64, and the Atari kind of just disappeared. The Atari didn't really. By the time the Spectrum and the Spectrum and C64 became popular, people had stopped buying the Atari. I don't think you could even get any games for it. And I mean, some of the games that came out latterly for it were absolutely terrible. But I'm lucky enough to own quite a few Ataris, and you can maybe. Can you see it behind me? If I just move my seat out the road. There it's there. Can you see it? Over there. That's my Atari 130XE. Is it XE? Yeah, it is 130XE. The Atari is a brilliant machine. It's an absolutely fantastic machine. It's quite a fast chip. It's the scrolling on it's fantastic, and it's got an amazing sound palette. And the sound isn't bad. It's not a patch on the SID chip, I have to say, but nothing is. But yeah, I love the Atari. It's a great machine, and I do feel really blessed that I've got all these machines that I can enjoy them. I mean, I've got a BBC, which to be fair, I haven't used all that much. But yeah, I would probably say the big two for me, two machines that really came out. The biggest one for me would be the Spectrum, hands down. I thought the Spectrum was shite back then, and now I think it's a great machine. It's quirky, it's original, it's got some absolutely fantastic games. And yeah, the Atari is a great machine. So thank you very, very much, Mark, and finally thank you very much to everybody that's taking time to ask me questions. Please keep them coming. Yeah, I will be along on Sunday, as always. Sunday, what time? 6 till 8. I've not thought about what I'm going to do. I'll have a think about it. I'll post it on Discord, and I'll also post it on my Mainmeister Facebook page. Thank you very much. I noticed my sub numbers has kind of jumped up a wee bit in the last couple of weeks. It kind of hit a plateau for a while. I'm talking a good few months. It just wouldn't move at all. If anything, it was going down. But I seem to have picked up a few subscribers. I don't know where you guys have come from. But if you're new to the channel, thank you very much for subscribing to the channel. Please continue to watch the videos. Try and jump into live stream. The live streams are good fun because always there's a bit of interaction that's going on as well. So listen guys, I'm going to get going. I hope you all have a really nice weekend. I'll hopefully catch up on Sunday, 6 o'clock till 8. And finally, as always guys, thank you very much for watching.